Hello and welcome into historic Keyworth Stadium for Detroit City FC's 2024 USL W League home opener. It's Detroit City FC versus Flint City AFC for the second consecutive weekend. Last weekend, LaRouge went into Atwood Stadium in Flint and came home with all 3 points against the defending Great Lakes Divisional champions, thanks to a second-half goal from midfielder Emily Paget. This was Flint City AFC's first regular season loss since the 2022 season, as they maintained an undefeated record of 9-3-0 last season. Detroit City FC ended last season with a record of 5-3-4 in David Drahe's first season at the helm. LaRouge just narrowly missed out on their first ever USL W League playoff berth, finishing third in the Great Lakes Division behind Flint and Kalamazoo FC. You see now both the teams lined up and ready for action here at Keyworth Stadium. A beautiful Saturday evening here and a 7 p.m. kickoff. About a 75 degree weather day, not a cloud in the sky. Detroit City FC looking to do what they did last week, albeit with a few less, impactful players than they had last week. Of course, no Lily Jekyll this evening for Detroit City FC, as well as no Adele Francis. Picked up a knock in training. Detroit City FC's 2023 Black Arrow MVP Avery Peters back for this season. Started last match at center back and is going to be a crucial part of the squad here again this season, and especially this evening as we take a look here at the Detroit City FC starting 11. Dave Drahe's deploying the squad in a sort of a 4-2-2-2 shape. Back four of Ella Offer, Avery Peters, Acadia Murphy, and Maya Solis holding things down, with Kate Childers and Tatiana Mason in the midfield. It's going to be Emily Paget and Lily Bosley, the more advanced midfielders, with Hannah Crum and Aubrey Ciampa leading the line for Detroit City FC. Talked to Dave Drahe a couple days ago at training. He mentioned how important continuity is in the USLW League. These summer seasons sort of, it's about who's available and when you can use them throughout the course of the year. So a good start there to have some continuity from last week's season opener in Flint. We'll see the team huddles here getting ready to break up. The squad looking to go to a 2-0 record to start the season. Crowd on hand here at Keyworth Stadium. A beautiful, beautiful Saturday summer, early summer. We late spring or early summer? Definitely late spring, right? June 21st, I think, is the solstice. So starting 11 photos being taken now. Clock being readied to my left. Squad taking their positions. The beautiful Detroit City FC 2024 home kit. Gold numbers on the back. One getting ready for the home opener is always a special occasion. Want to show out in front of the fans coming out to support the squad. A good amount of away fans in Flint for last week's season opener for Detroit City FC, despite the 2 games and 1 day situation. The stage is set for kickoff here at Keyworth Stadium. Flint City AFC getting into their positions. Mentioned already, last year's Great Lakes Divisional champions made it to the playoffs, so they would eventually lose to Indy 11 at Atwood Stadium, then would go on to win the national championship, did Indy 11. As we are ready for kickoff, and we are underway at Keyworth Stadium. Thank you so much for joining us here on CBSDetroit.com. That one's going to go out of play for a deep throw-in. It'll actually be Detroit City FC's ball, so a deep throw-in in the opposite direction is to what I originally meant, but the ball is played forward and just poked away at the last second there, and now Flint has an opportunity to get an early attacking chance under their belt. That was Reese Canada who tried to play it forward, but it's cut out by the Detroit City FC back line, going all the way back to Acadia Murphy, who plays it over to Avery Peters. Acadia Murphy, not new to the Detroit City FC, but did not come around last year. She was part of the 2022 USLW League squad, but back for 2024. As Flint City AFC gets a throw in on the far side. That one's going to be poked around just a little bit, coming all the way back. Ella Offer had that one covered, and Acadia Murphy's going to clear it out one more time. Another throw-in upcoming here for Flint City. Edge of the area, spun really well. That one's going to be played into the middle. A wide open header, but that one's going to be poked away last possible second. But not out of the woods yet. Referee's going to give a foul the other way. So Detroit City FC able to clear their lines on this occasion. But early on in the first, 78 seconds of this match, Flint looking dangerous. Gabby Shriver's going to play it over to Murphy. Not really seeing the ball yet out of Detroit City FC's defensive back line. Hannah Crum looked like she was going to get an opportunity on that one. Of course, one of the 5 PASL players in the squad this evening. A good turn there from last week's goal scorer, Emily Paget. That one's going to be played to Lily Bosley, 2-time Michigan Miss Soccer winner. Tatiana Mason back to Avery Peters. All the way back out wide to Ella Offer. That one's going to be played up toward the middle. Hannah Crum's going to run onto it, but just unable to get there before the Flint City defender. Playing now in the midfield, Detroit City FC sort of enjoyed their first spell of possession here of the match, but that one's going to be marshaled all the way out wide to the fullback before being pushed into the midfield on this occasion. Grace Philpotts playing all the way across the back line. Kaylee Shannon plays it all the way to the right back. It's going to be Paget that's going to put some pressure on before Ella Offer steps up into space. Flint just kind of controlling the tempo of the game here early on. That one's going to go up and out of play for a Detroit City FC throw-in. Beautiful sunny day here at Keyworth Stadium for the home opener. We really can't find much better weather, and we'll see a turnover here from Avery Peters. Flint now has an opportunity to pounce on a mistake. That one's going to come up, and that shot was never going to challenge Gabby Shriver, but goes into a sweet. That was sort of a flubbed opportunity right there. If you're Detroit City FC, kind of catching your breath just a little bit, it was an Avery Peters mispass that led to that opportunity for the visitors. Isabella Gaetino's going to want that one back. As Gabby Shriver blasts this one into midfield, unable to connect her pass to Kate Childers, another one of those players who was here in 2022 but didn't return last season, but is back in the Rouge and Gold for 2024. Kate Childers putting some pressure on, but unable to contain her attacker. That one's played into the area. Avery Peters, again, sort of a miss kick out of space. Lily Bosley thought she had a chance to it, but Gabby Shriver's going to marshal this one to make sure it does not go out for a corner. Into the hands of Shriver now. Again, another one of those players on the PASL roster in the winter of 2024. We'll see a shoe tying break here with Acadia Murphy helping out her teammate. Not often you see a shoe tying situation going on. Drop ball, but placed back into the hands. Captain's armband on the shin as well. That's interesting. Just sort of a misplay there by Maya Sulis. Now Flint City AFC is able to attack, and Acadia Murphy there had to do what she had to do, tripping up Isabella Gaetino. And if she didn't do that, that would have been a one-on-one opportunity with, the quality that Gaetino has. Would have been difficult for not to imagine her bulge in the back of the net on that occasion. So a dangerous free kick opportunity nonetheless here for the visitors. But instead of a dangerous one-on-one attacking opportunity between Gaetino and Shriver. Referee seems to be happy with the distance between the wall and the attacker. Looks a little bit long to me up here. But Flint City AFC now. Gaetino standing over. It's going to be a right-footed ball into the area. It's going to go right off of the wall and out of play. That's a good defensive stand right there for Detroit City FC. Thrown in very quickly, though. Flint City now not taking their foot off of the gas. A cut inside before coming back out wide. Gaetino's going to play it in. Cleared away by Murphy and then Paget before getting to Aubrey Ciampa. That one's going to go all the way back to the Flint City back line. It's been mostly Flint for the first 5.5 minutes of this match. Detroit City FC struggling early on to get the ball to the feet of their attackers, and namely in Ciampa and Hannah Crum. Avery Peters is going to see that one out for a goal kick. Been a couple up and down minutes here for Avery Peters. A couple missed kicks, a couple misplaced passes, but really good to see that one out of play for last year's Black Arrow MVP award winner. Thank you guys so much, all that are viewing on cbsdetroit.com. Catch every single USL W League home match from Keyworth Stadium on CBS Detroit. As that one's going to come over the top. Ciampa was on an interesting path and angle over to it. Back to Shriver. Shriver has Murphy and Peters with her. A good press here from the Flint attackers. A really brave step over right there from Acadia Murphy, and that foul is going to go against Flint City AFC. A super brave step over there with two attackers sort of breathing down her neck. Acadia Murphy there, but a really good job to little step over and playing the ball into space before her teammate draws the foul further up the pitch. It's going to be a high defensive line for Detroit City FC as Murphy blasts this one forward. Hannah Crum was first up to it, unable to get there, but Padgett's going to do well to track this ball down. Padgett with a clever idea over there to Ella Offer, just unable to communicate that with her teammate. Good pressure there from Offer and Padgett. Flint unable to play it out. Tatiana Mason, another one of the PASL stalwarts, back in the Detroit City FC midfield. Ball out wide for Detroit City FC. Tried to be played in. Looks like there was a slight deflection on it. It'll be a corner. The first of the game for Detroit City FC, a far-sided corner. It's going to be Tatiana Mason that's going to run over to take this one for Detroit City FC. Played a super huge part in the squad's success in the 2024 Premier Arena Soccer League season. That one's played in, and that one's going to be eventually cleared away, but only as far as Emily Padgett. Padgett puts her foot up to it. Taz Mason up with her. Tatiana Mason plays the ball into the area. That one's coming over through Lily Bosley. And Lily Bosley's going to want that one back. She got the direction on it. It was a great ball from wide by Tatiana Mason, and she could go anywhere else but into the back of the net, but that one goes just wide of the post and out for a Flint goal kick. She'll definitely want that one back. The two-time Miss Soccer winner for the state of Michigan. Tatiana Mason's going to step into space, receives the ball, puts it forward for Padgett. Tatiana Mason just absolutely running this midfield for Detroit City FC right now as Maya Sulis steps into some space going forward, has Lily Bosley up with her. Bosley finds Sulis again. Sulis plays the ball across and just cut out at the last possible second before Ciampa could get a foot onto it. But that high defensive line from Detroit City FC pays dividends on this occasion, and Padgett just unable to spin away from her defender. Played all the way back. All the way back to the Flint goalkeeper, and the first 5.5 minutes were pretty much all Flint City AFC, but the last few Detroit City FC has been picking up the pressure, putting the Flint back line under a little bit of danger, with Lily Bosley coming incredibly close to breaking the deadlock here early on. Mason tried to find Childers on that occasion. It's going to go all the way out for a throw-in. Will be for Flint City AFC, right about midfield. Both sides try to. It's hard to play a team twice in a row, especially in a league like the W League where we mentioned continuity is everything, having players available, having them in the match day roster. Of course, Detroit City FC's Woman of the Match from last week, Lily Jekyll, unable to play in tonight's contest, as well as Adele Francis, her strike partner from last week at Atwood Stadium. Really good press there by Ciampa, just unable to get a foot on it. Lily Bosley with a really tangible press on the Flint City FC midfielder. Maya Sulis looks like she has this one under control. Is going to go to ground. Didn't really need to. That one's out for a Gabby Shriver goal kick. 10 minutes gone, and this one's still a 0-0 matchup. Maya Sulis really heavily involved in a couple of opportunities going forward for Detroit City FC in that wingback position. A great header over the top, and they're going to say Emily Padgett was offsides. That was a close one. Of course, all the referees in the stadium disagree with that one. Just don't check what badge they have on their shirt. Probably a little bit of bias going on there. But it was definitely a tight call for that line judge on the near side. A great header there from Ciampa. See why you call that one. As Flint now looks to build out of the back, something that has become so fashionable in the state of today's game. You almost see every team whether it be non-league in England, NWSL, top division of women's soccer here in the United States. Just everyone playing out of the back, sort of the way to do it. You kind of dinosaurs parking the bus, stuff like that. Not really as common in today's game. It's a great ball through, and that one's going to be flagged for offside too. A really tight call again from this line judge on this occasion. 11.5 minutes gone here at Keyworth Stadium. The sides knotted up at 0-0. The best chance of the evening so far coming from Lily Bosley of Detroit City FC. Spoke to Avery Peters at training last week. She mentioned, obviously University of Michigan player herself brought over Lily Bosley, her teammate at U of M, over to the W League squad this year. And she said she's telling the new players it's going to be loud. There's going to be a lot of smoke. It's going to be hard to communicate on the pitch, but that's the way they like it here at Detroit City FC. So using sort of that atmosphere to build up, the recruiting as well as the atmosphere for home match days for this squad. And a really good press there by Hannah Crum. She's going to get on the end of this one. Hannah Crum has Ciampa and Bosley up with her, as well as Emily Paget coming into the fray. Tried to get across that one. It was a really clever leg out by the fullback for Flint City AFC, as Detroit City FC has a throw in deep in the Flint half. Thrown in all the way to Paget. Paget good job there with her back to goal. That cross going to come in. Bosley's up to it. Lily Bosley in front of goal. And again, Lily Bosley unable to put that one into the back of the net. But Detroit City FC still attacking. And wow, in the first 13 minutes, just 2 chances that Lily Bosley will want back. Not going to come much easier than those two. But it's a good sign that LaRouge has been able to create these chances so early on in the match against a quality opponent. Will they come to regret it now with Flint City AFC on the counterattack? That ball sprayed out wide. That one's popped up in the air. Murphy's over to track it. Just an unfortunate first touch there from the forward. And Murphy tracking it down before seeing it out of play for a corner. That was Ella Offer on that occasion. So Flint City now earning a corner early on here on the far side. Ciampa on the near side, unable to be viewed, is receiving some talking points from head coach David Dwahey as the corner is prepped on that far side and played into the area, into the mixer, into the mixer on corners. It could go anywhere, especially with deflections and stuff, but that one will be a relief for the Detroit City FC back line to see it up and over for a goal kick. Shriver wasted no time, gets us started right away. Murphy plays that one forward. Tried to find Lily Bosley in some space, unable to do so. Cut out brilliantly there by Maya Carter. That one's played down the line and cleared away by Avery Peters, looking for Reese Canada on that occasion, and Hannah Crum tried to get something fancy going there. Ciampa thought she was going to anticipate the back pass to the goalkeeper. All the way back out wide. Grace Philpotts. Philpotts beaten to it there by Bosley. Comes back to Bosley from Sulis. And Detroit City FC retained possession with Tatiana Mason sort of running the show in the midfield. Out wide to Offer. Played into Childers. Childers is going to play it forward, just unable to connect with Ciampa on that occasion. Good press there by Paget, last week's goal scorer and match winner. Western Michigan University midfielder when it's not W League season. Second year at Detroit City FC after playing a good part in last year's W League campaign, which saw LaRouge finish third in the Great Lakes Division. Both sides seem to have, their moments of possession going forward, but both seem confident when playing the ball out of the back. As Ella Offer's going to cut that one off. A great first 16 minutes for her here at Keyworth Stadium. Misplaced pass there by Avery Peters. Hannah Crum putting a shoulder into the back, and on the second attempt, the Flint City AFC whistle will go against Detroit City FC. On that occasion, it was Maya Carter who was fouled in the midfield, and a less dangerous position than Flint's first free kick of the game, but still nonetheless might be a direct one here. Seeing a lot of lineups come in with the Detroit City FC back line. Imagine it's just going to be floated into that 18-yard box by Gaetino. Right-footed effort coming in. Floated right onto the penalty spot there. Not really fully dealt with by the Detroit City FC backline, and eventually Shepard out of play for a goal kick. A little bit of contact there with Ella Offer as the ball was going out of play, but nothing malicious, nothing that would draw a penalty. As Shriver places the ball down for another goal kick. While Detroit City FC have had the better chances of the game, the two biggest ones thus far, most of the match has been played in their defensive third, as Flint's been doing a really good job transitioning the ball from their midfielders up to their attackers early on in tonight's contest. That one's headed around, and they're going to call Emily Paget for the foul on that occasion. You mentioned the continuity needed, the importance of it, and how it impacts things in the W League. Detroit City FC comes into this game with 5 players from the PASL roster in today's 18. So they were able to play with each other in January, February, make it to the playoffs, and that chemistry, that cohesiveness just fades into this W League season for this year. And it's evident in training, and it's evident so far in the first 108 minutes of action here in the 2024 season. Ball's out wide. A great job by Maya Sulis to see that one out of play for a Detroit City FC throw-in into the shaded part of Keyworth Stadium. That one's going to be blasted forward, but Avery Peters is back there to claim it. Peters a composed ball over to Murphy. Murphy's going to play it out wide to Sulis. Sulis never really got there to it, but puts a foot on it to gain herself a couple more yards when coming back. Grace Philpott's throwing this one in. It's been a really interesting physical battle between the Flint City AFC forwards and the Detroit City FC back line. A lot of back-to-goal plays so far from Flint, and Detroit City FC doing well so far to maintain that. That one's out of play for a throw-in. It's going to stay with Flint City FC on this end of the pitch. Still Flint now in the near side corner. Maya Sulis doing some defensive work, as well as that's Lily Bosley all the way back there. That one's going to be a good cross into the area. Just unable to find anyone. It had good weight on it, good speed for an attacker to get after it. Just the placement might not have been there. A great job again by Ella Offer. An outstanding first 19 minutes of her Keyworth Stadium debut. And now Detroit City FC kind of has numbers forward here. Paget gets it out of her feet over to Hannah Crum. Hannah Crum has Aubrey Ciampa with her. If she looks up, ball's played across Ciampa. As it with it, Ciampa goes for the shot. It's blocked away at the last second. Tatiana Mason unable to control it for a shot. And Childers keeps it with Detroit City FC. It's Ciampa once again. Ciampa goes for the right foot of the effort. Aubrey Ciampa, it hits the crossbar. And out of play for a Detroit City FC throw-in. That was an electric 60-ish seconds right there for Detroit City FC. Chance time and time again, but out of play for a throw-in. And Hannah Crum now looking to keep things going. I believe flags up for offsides. But a great job there by Ciampa to create something out of nothing there for Detroit City FC. And that was sort of the first time where LaRouche has had numbers forward on Flint, and Hannah Crum picks her head up. Maybe just a second prior, we see something, the net bulging there for their first goal even, but nonetheless a great counterattack there from Detroit City FC. Seeing a 2-1 prediction in the chat. Love that. Another 3 points for Detroit City FC would be awesome. Flint now looking to sort of just take a deep breath after that really dangerous chance from Detroit City FC was unable to be capitalized on as they try to get a foothold into this game. They controlled the first 5 minutes and had really positive spells since then, but Detroit City FC certainly amping up the pressure just a little bit here early on. Tatiana Mason, a great turn in the midfield from her. Referee's going to say that was clean. As now Flint has numbers due to the counterattack. That shot, left-footed effort's going to come in, and a great job by Avery Peters to get down and over to it. The squad here at Keyworth Stadium acknowledging that, as well as the Detroit City FC bench. I saw Dave Dwahey, head coach for the squad, leap into mid-air. A great job by Peters to see that one out of play. A corner upcoming now for Flint City AFC. On that occasion, it was Landis Canada, one of the more dangerous attackers for this Flint side, who had that opportunity. So she'll want that one back as well. But when Avery Peters is tackling like that, not much you can do to break the deadlock. As a Flint corner is being readied here, this time from the near side. That corner comes into the mixer. Really just up and again over everybody. And it's going to go out for a goal kick. So Detroit City FC catches their breath after that one, after a great defensive effort there from Avery Peters, part of that back line that kept a clean sheet against this very same Flint City AFC squad just 7 days ago at Atwood Stadium. Acadia Murphy plays the ball to Ciampa in some space. Ciampa, a really composed ball into the middle to Tatiana Mason. Mason's going to find Offer, who's in an advanced position up wide. Offer has Padgett up with her, elects to go into the middle. Ciampa went for the volley attempt, but that one's going to bounce out of play for a goal kick for the visitors. As I mentioned in the open, Flint City AFC suffered their first regular season loss since 2022 last weekend against Detroit City FC. Detroit City FC's woman of the match on that occasion, Lily Jekyll, not involved in today's 18, so that'll be a little bit of sigh of relief from the visitors as Tatiana Mason employs the press once again. Coming from the midfield all the way up, and Tatiana Mason's going to win the ball into space. She can keep it in, it'd be paramount, but it goes out for a goal kick for Flint. Tatiana Mason spent last year with AFC Ann Arbor, back in the Rouge and Gold for the 2024 season, to the dismay of the Mighty Oak. A really talented midfielder. Played some professional ball as well. Peters over to Murphy. Murphy's going to blast that one forward. It's nice to see Murphy sort of grow into a player that can start regularly for Detroit City FC. Was sort of a bit part player for Le Rouge in 2022. But clearly part of the first team plans this season, as the ball's going to come in from wide. Hannah Crumb's up to it. Ciampa now keeping the ball in play for Detroit City FC, just forced a little bit wide. And eventually poked away and out for a Detroit City FC throw-in. That was Landis Canada back to defend for the visitors. Flint City AFC, of course, same club under the same banner as the Flint City Bucks. 2019 USL League 2 champions. Former City great Omar Sinclair, part of that 2019 championship winning roster. Avery Peters is all the way back, and we'll see this one go out of play, despite a press from Landis Canada, and back to Shriver. Conditions couldn't be more perfect for a soccer match in the middle of May. Murphy playing this one forward, finds Lily Bosley in space. That's a great ball forward by Murphy. Bosley's going to play to some space. Hannah Crum now over to it. Just unable to get to it. And that's about as direct as you can be, right from a center back to a streaking midfielder down the near side and then back into your striker. But Crum just unable to get over to it. Hannah Crum scored 11 goals in 10 regular season matches for Detroit City FC in the Premier Arena Soccer League. Good job there by Offer to keep possession up for her side. Mason now holding off the defender, playing it back inside before it's wide. That one's going to be a shaped ball. Left-footed effort into the area. Really good block, and a crucial one there as well from Casey Lauer. And it needed to be, or else there's about 3 or 4 Detroit City FC players in the middle there that could have caused Flint trouble. Another corner for Detroit City FC. Tatiana Mason seems to be the one deputized for these situations, on the far side at least. Ball into the area, sort of the wind looks like it got a hold of that just a little bit as Avery Peters settles that one down Out to Ciampa. Ciampa now running into some space, trying a little step over there. Flint City back line not too shocked by that, and Ciampa's going to play that one out, much to the dismay of Avery Peters. And it'll be a throw-in now for the visitors, about midfield. Sigh of relief there when nothing comes of a corner. Childers playing this one forward. Thanks for tuning in on CBSDetroit.com, the home of all Detroit City FC USL W League matches for the 2024 season. Ciampa, really good press. Hannah Crum's going to be the beneficiary of it. Goes to ground. Referee says that one was clean, but the ball didn't really bounce the direction she would have wanted it to for it to stay with Detroit City FC. But Flint kind of just gives it back by playing it out of play, and Padgett's going to try to make them pay for that. Good job there by Offer to keep the ball with her side before playing it all the way back to Tatiana Mason. Avery Peters now on the ball with some space and time. Just a errant pass there. Out of play for a Flint throw-in. Shout out to Sean Grogan, who's going to be the color commentator for these matches. First one coming up on Thursday, just out of town currently for his bachelor party as his wedding's coming up. So huge shout out to Grogan. Can't wait to have you up here with me in the booth. As Flint City now looks to get a foothold back into this one. Not really had a sustained spell of possession since their corner a few minutes ago, but a great job in cut inside there by Grace Philpotts is going to try to get her side going. But Lily Bosley and Avery Peters, the two Michigan Wolverines, cutting that one out. Peters plays it into Bosley, her University of Michigan teammate. Childers wanted that one. It's going to be Offer who's going to have to get on her horse to get over to that one, just unable to track it down. Another throw in for the visitors. Really good job there by Mason. That's a nutmeg, but the referee eventually is going to let the play continue. Thought she was going to play the advantage right there for a second, but I believe she saw that Mason was dispossessed from the foul, so gives it the way of LaRouge. Avery Peters taking this one. Her and Murphy playing a super high line, and that just shows kind of the intent that Detroit City FC is going to employ, not only in this match, but this season. If you're playing this way against last year's division champions, it's going to be the blueprint for every match that you play in the regular season this year for sure. As Mason and Murphy kind of collaborate on that one, it comes all the way back to Peters. A slight press here from the Flint forward line. Unable to find Crum on that occasion, as Flint now looking to commit bodies forward and kind of get a good chance in on Shriver. Played into the middle. Detroit City FC just has the numbers. They have the bodies back to snuff out any opportunities that the visitors, are trying to create. Padgett there. Good step from her to win the ball back. Offer over to Childers. Childers goes back to Peters. Peters is going to blast it forward. Peters finds Ciampa with the ball, just that first touch, and then the combination of the first touch and the turf sees that one skip out of play for a Flint throw-in. Coming up on the 30-minute mark here at Keyworth Stadium, knotted up 0-0. Been a few minutes since we've had a concrete chance, but the two best ones of the game have fallen to Lily Bosley, both inside of the 6-yard box, inside of the 18-yard box, and she'll want both of those back, as that one's out for another goal kick. Shriver settle things down just a little bit. I think she'll have Peters take this. Is it still called a goal kick when the defender takes it? Legally, I bet it is, yeah. Peters into the midfield. Saw Ciampa. Ciampa saw it a little bit late, but nonetheless gets it over to an attempting run from Padgett, but it's going to be eventually, I thought it was going to be Marshall out of play and out for a Flint goal kick, but the pressure that Padgett put on there allowed LaRouge to get possession back here deep in the Flint City AFC half. Throw-in's going to come in here from Ella Offer. Offer throws it in. Back to Offer now. Ball into the area. Has Crum up with her. Bosley going to get over to it. Bosley up to Sulis, who's in an advanced position from that right back slot. Little bit of pressure there, but eventually cleared all the way up. And we'll see Ciampa now is going to run it some space. Ciampa's going to put it in the back of the net. And Flint City AFC shoots themselves in the foot on this occasion. And a great press there by Ciampa was all Detroit City FC needed to give LaRouge the 1-0 advantage. And immediately they run over to celebrate with the supporters on this near side. Aubrey Ciampa can't believe it. Can't believe her luck. That's one of the easier goals she'll score all season. Great job there from Ciampa. The entire Detroit City FC front line there, pressing on the front foot. And Ciampa gives LaRouge the 1-0 lead after 32 minutes of play. And it's a lead that they deserve after coming dangerously close on 2 occasions. Detroit City FC goes up 1-0. Just, you can't be doing that if you're Flint. I mean, Detroit City FC was in a position, sort of the whole move there, it was going to be their possession no matter what for Flint's, and then all of a sudden, Ciampa's through on goal. It was a great press. Acadia Murphy it was that stepped into space, and just a miscommunication from the back line played Ciampa through on goal. And all of a sudden, it's 1-0 City with just 13 minutes to go before halftime. Ciampa's been dangerous all game. She's been involved in many of an opportunities for Detroit City FC, but finds that on this occasion. And folks, if you're watching at home, you see that QR code in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. While this is not a Pride Raiser match for the Northern Guard supporters, we are on the brink of June here, so scan that QR code, pledge to the 2024 Northern Guard supporters Pride Raiser campaign supporting the Ruth Ellis Center. So on June 1st, when that calendar moves over, that these goals start to mean a lot for the Ruth Ellis Center in the month of June. Scan the QR code now, make your pledge, and give to a great cause, and support Detroit City FC at the same time. So Detroit City FC pleased with where they are, except for, 1 or 2 half opportunities from the visitors. It's really been all Detroit City FC in the attacking third of the pitch. Some great midfield play from Tatiana Mason. When she's been on the ball, LaRouge has looked dangerous. And Lily Bosley, there's only so many of those chances before she turns one of them into a goal. And Ciampa, again dangerous through a misplaced pass there from Flint. But on this occasion, a high boot's going to be called to go against Detroit City FC. Looking at, the celebration there, the whole squad kind of couldn't believe what they were seeing there. It's not often that, a team of Flint stature and, what they did last year makes mistakes like that, but Detroit City FC is going to have no complaints after 30 minutes being up 1-0. Played into some space there, trying to connect into the midfield, unable to do so. Tatiana Mason applying the pressure. Coming out wide, Detroit City FC seems to be really composed when defending on the touchlines, both near and far side. Ella Offers had a great game, and Maya Sulis been heavily involved in some defensive actions as well. We'll see the goal here one more time, and you see Ciampa just kind of goes through 3 of the defenders before calmly placing it into the back of the net. The whole back line there sort of scratching their heads, unsure how that one happened. But again, make those kind of mistakes, you're going to be eventually punished for them. The 2 Lily Bosley chances early on kind of came again from mistakes from the Flint back line, and Detroit City FC just making this one count and giving themselves a 1-0 lead here after 35 minutes of action. Great celebration there as well from the Detroit City FC players, just running down the line. Got a high five line after the game, of course, but starting one a little bit early here at Keyworth this afternoon. Great job there by Childers. Really sick animation there. Out wide now with Flint as they look to get the equalizer back into this one's game. You can see what they're trying to do. They're trying to attack it out wide, really go after Sulis and offer on those wings, just unable to really make any ground on that occasion. And Hannah Crum's going to be called for another foul here. Aaron touch in the midfield from Flint, not really punished, as didn't really have to be. Maya Carter going to be thankful that Emily Paget wasn't fully switched on that occasion, but a ball is going to be played back to her before it's poked away by Siampa, who's been absolutely everywhere so far in the opening 37 minutes of action tonight. Siampa pressing from the front, been heavily involved in the midfield and sometimes even tracking back on that wing to help out Offer on that far side. So a really well-rounded performance from her. Siampa, one of the younger players on the roster, born in 2007, so just 17 years old out there for Detroit City FC. In fact, the youngest player in tonight's 18, Siampa. So it just goes to show how even more impressive last week's win over Flint City AFC was when you consider Lily Jekyll, only 15-year-old, was out there as well. So her, Siampa, just a lot of young players on this roster. Spoke to Amanda Britton about this at training earlier this week. She said they kind of bring the energy, and then the older players bring the experience, the wherewithal, the know-how to close out games or take advantage of early opportunities there to put games to bed. So a good mix of experience and youth in this Detroit City FC roster. Avery Peters urging the team upfield. Peters is going to blast this one forward. Looking for somebody. Unable to find someone wearing maroon and blue. Navy, excuse me. All the way back before Offer blasts it forward. And Hannah Crum's not the tallest player out there, but is always competitive when going up for these headers, these 50-50 situations. She was a physical presence for the PASL squad. In those 10 regular season matches, of course, that squad making it all the way to the PASL Nationals semifinals. Sulis there trying to take it back from Gaetino. Gaetino now playing it forward to her teammate. Found Reese Canada on that occasion, who cuts it back inside to Olivia Rush. Rush with time and space on the ball is going to elect to go all the way out wide to Phil Potts. Phil Potts tried to play it down the line, and there's a throw in a couple yards prior to where she kicked it out from. Phil Potts getting play back underway. Landis Canada up on that occasion, and that one's going to be called against Canada, and it'll be a free kick for Detroit City FC as we creep up on the 40th minute mark here in the first half from Keyworth Stadium. Katia Murphy standing over it. Seems to be one way Detroit City FC wants to play this game, and it's by going forward as Mason is going to play that one up into some space. Hannah Crum's going to have to apply some pressure here. A good job playing out of the back there from Flint. And when you make a mistake like that as a back line, your heads could drop in terms of playing out of the back, but Flint not seem to lose too much of their confidence when doing so, despite giving up a goal that way. Great job by Siampa to get over to it. A great step over to open up some space for her. And Tatiana Mason has a ton of options to look up for here going forward. Finds Ella Offer. A great first touch from Offer. Poked away by Flint. Line judge took a look at the center referee. They're going to decide on a Flint City AFC throw-in. All the way back to the goalkeeper here. Sort of a reset from the visitors. Peyton Northrup in net. not really has had much to do. The goal, it was kind of a one-on-one, an unfortunate situation for her as the goalkeeper, but on the 2 chances from Lily Bosley, didn't really have to make a save, wasn't called into action, and then relied on the crossbar from that first shot from distance from Ciampa as well. So neither keeper really called into action so far just yet, despite a couple goal kicks here and there. Ball played forward. Shriver's going to be off of her line to get hands on this one. Waiting for a Flint player to put some pressure on her, taking all the time off the clock as needed. Shriver assessing the options, elects to kick that one high into the sky, all the way to Gaetino. Gaetino finds Philpotts after a misdirection there. Staying with Flint in Detroit City FC, just on the edge of Detroit City FC. Gaetino, great ball over the top, and the header comes in. But that was a great run, a great ball, and Shriver would have been a little bit concerned, but if that was headed down, she would have had a lot more work to do. But that one's up and out of play for a goal kick as we cross the 42nd minute mark. Probably the most dangerous chance so far for the visitors. Not even really requiring much there out of Shriver. There was a great run in behind, a great ball over the top. Bosley over to Mason. Mason finding Childers and all the way back to Mason. Mason out wide to Sulis on the near side. Sulis going back to Murphy. Murphy been playing out of the back all evening for Detroit City FC. She's kind of been the catalyst for attacking situations coming from the center backs, has Murphy. It's been her, Mason, and Ciampa that have been heavily involved when playing out of the back. Childers tried to switch play there, but plays it into the feet of Gaetano. Gaetino now coming in. The right-footed effort comes in and blocked away by Murphy. Mason trying to read it out of the sky. Took a bounce off the turf there. Good job by Paget there to step back into some space. Bosley looking for the step over there. Goes all the way back. Physical battle there involved with Emily Paget, and the referee is going to say that was a throw-in. I don't know if she gave that as a free kick, but on that occasion it was Paget and Carter that got tangled up. Referee was cool with that one and elects it to go out for a throw-in. Detroit City FC still pressing here, kind of in the zone where you want to just go into the half up 1-0. You don't want to have anything to change your halftime talk for either manager. Played forward and retains with Flint here on the near side. Into the 18. The ref's going to give the foul on that occasion. I believe that was against Tatiana Mason. Thought maybe they were going to, the referee wanted to talk to Mason about that. No card brandished on this occasion. But for the second time this evening, a dangerous free kick opportunity here for the visiting Flint City AFC. Just on the stroke of halftime. On the first occasion, it was Gaetino who took it. We'll see if they stick with her. Looks like they will. She's the only one over there on the corner of the 18-yard box. And a really dangerous angle for the Detroit City FC backline and Gabby Shriver. So I could just curl it up. And honestly, you could curl it into that far post as well. So we'll see what Gaetino elects to do on this occasion. Gaetino now stepping up into it. That strike's going to come in, and Shriver had to be quick over to it. But up and over and out of play, and a sigh of relief from Shriver, the back line, and everybody here in the stadium that is rooting for Detroit City FC. That's the closest the visitors have come on this occasion as we creep into extra time. Going to be 2 added minutes here at the end of the first half. Paget staying with it. Really good job to stay in the play there. A clever turn by Paget. Both players go to ground. The referee's just going to say that that was all clean. Just a little bit of a trip from both players. And a huge tackle coming in on offer. Referee's going to blow the whistle on that occasion. The Flint City, 2 Flint City AFC protests, by the way. A great first half from Ella Offer out of that left back slot for Detroit City FC. Not only has she been really composed when defending the ball, also not afraid to break forward and get involved in the attacking opportunities, as well as Ciampa has her back turned on that occasion. Up and over. It'll be a throw-in for the visitors. Just a minute remaining in stoppage time, plus a couple extra seconds here and there. Mason doing well to track that one up out of the sky. It's going to stay with Flint, but Childers gets a foot onto it. Crum just unable to win the physical battle. Bosley's going to retain possession for her side. A great turn there by Ciampa, just stamped out by 2 players. Gatino now back to goal. Back to the midfield, rather. The referee's going to call that foul on the Mason and Sulis combo. Free kick here can only be seconds remaining in the first half, as that one's going to come all the way back to Shriver. I think we'll see the same thing again, where she doesn't pick it up unless she has to. She'll do so. I imagine the whistle will come shortly after this long kick from Shriver. Blast it up into the air, and Bosley unable to get to it, but it's going to stay with Detroit City FC through Paget, as Crum tried to throw a foot at it, and Detroit City FC goes into the half up 1-0 against the defending Great Lakes Division champion Flint City AFC. It was Aubrey Ciampa that scored the goal for Detroit City FC to put the side ahead after 45 minutes of play. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back for the second half of action live from Keyword Stadium. Hello and welcome back inside of historic Keyworth Stadium. Detroit City FC currently enjoying a 1-0 advantage over the visiting Flint City AFC thanks to a first-half goal from Aubrey Ciampa. The goal is going to be about as easy as it's going to get for Ciampa. A really bad giveaway from the Flint City AFC back line resulted in Ciampa kind of just running through freely on goal, had to get by 3 players before having the strike inside of the 6-yard box, and she tucked it home to give Detroit City FC the 1-0 advantage. As you see the final instructions, the final preparations happening here with the Detroit City FC squad. There's the goal scorer, Ciampa, the first goal scorer of the W League season at home for Detroit City FC. Like I mentioned, the youngest player in the 18 this evening, born in 2007, only 17 years old, and gives Detroit City FC fans a reason to celebrate. It's not just been Ciampa. The entire Detroit City FC unit has been really impressive so far this evening. The midfield of Tatiana Mason and Emily Padgett, they've just been absolute workhorses for Detroit City FC this evening. And the back line holding things down, yet to concede a goal this season in 3 halves of W League play. Knock on wood if you're watching at home. Don't let me just say that and get away with it if we come out and concede right away. Final team talk coming in before the second 45 minutes of action taking place. Looking to hold on to a 1-0 advantage to get their second win of the season, second in a row over Flint City AFC. No changes that I'm aware of as of yet for either side as we come out of the break. The fans here cheering on the squad as they look to have a solid second 45 minutes of action. Really impressive performances up and down the pitch for Detroit City FC. The wingbacks have been particularly impressive so far. It's been Ella Offer and Maya Sulis. Not only have they been really impressive, defending on either side of the pitch, but also going forward, stepping up into the attack, into the midfield. And while Detroit City FC only has a 1-0 advantage, it could have been 2 or 3 if it was a different day for Lily Bosley, who had 2 chances that she'll want back. Some of the easiest chances that she'll ever see, but hoping to put those behind her and come out with a big 3 points here to start the season off 2-0. As Hannah Crum looks ready to get us underway for the second half of action here from Keyworth Stadium. Just waiting on the whistle now, and we are back underway. Hannah Crum gets things started. The second half of action here at Keyworth Stadium. Ciampa plays it all the way back to Murphy. Murphy gets it back to Ciampa. Again, I mentioned the wide players in that first half. On this occasion, it's Maya Sulis now on that far side, unable to connect the pass to get her squad going forward. Sort of a pinball there between the feet of Gaetino. Gaetino's kind of just running into some space. Ella Offer goes off of Peters, and then Offer puts the fire out. A little bit of a miscommunication there between Sulis and Childers, but eventually played forward. All the way back to Childers. Plays it back inside and back out to Sulis. All the way back to Shriver. Shriver's going to play it. A clever ball over to Offer, who's in some space. Offer cuts it inside to Mason. Mason looking for Padgett, who had her back to goal. A really tough ball to pick out there, especially on the first time. As Crum's going to receive it to chest. Ciampa plays into Padgett. Padgett, of course, last week's goal scorer in Flint, broke the deadlock between the two sides to give Detroit City FC the 1-0 advantage. Mason's going to get onto it now, coming all the way back and all the way back inside. As Mason's going to go to ground, referee's going to give that one against Flint City AFC and for LaRouge, who's going to get it started right underway. Detroit City FC, since their goal, you wouldn't really know that they were winning just because of how quickly they still want to play the game, how they want to be on the front foot, and how they want to attack. Mason now into Crum. Crum with some space, elects to go back to Mason. Mason's going to cut it back inside. That one's going to be poked out of play. Picked out of the air well there on that occasion, but Detroit City FC retains possession. That one's kind of just played into the area by Ciampa. Was hoping that Padgett's run was more advanced. And all the way back into the hands of Northrop. No relation to Nate Northup, the assistant coach on Dave Dwayhe's staff for this season. Just a very similar last name. No R, though, in the assistant coach's name, but an R in Peyton Northrup's name. As Avery Peters has the time to kind of just marshal forward a little bit here. It's going to get over to Offer. Offers in some space, finds Paget. A great run in behind there by Paget, just unable to get onto it before it goes out of play for a Flint City AFC throw-in. Curious to see how the press from Detroit City FC sort of materializes over this half. That was a tough one. That was a tough word for me to get off there. 3 minutes into the second half so far. Detroit City FC looks a lot more composed, than they did in pages of the first half there, as Ciampa's going to run onto this one, unable to see if she's going to get over to it. Does a great job to stop before colliding with Jordan Campbell down there. Northrop trying to get her squad back underway as they push for an equalizer. It's going to be a worst-case scenario start for Flint City AFC to the season if they're unable to get something out of this match, as Tatiana Mason tried to play it forward. A lot of folks that are familiar with the Great Lakes Division, a lot of folks familiar with the W League are kind of aware that it's going to be Detroit City FC and Flint at the top of the standings as the season kind of goes on. So if Detroit City FC is able to take 6 points out of 6 against last year's division champions, that'll be a great start to springboard the rest of the year for them. LaRouge, after this one, facing off against Michiana Lions next Thursday right here at Keyworth Stadium in a match that was originally supposed to be in South Bend, Indiana, but the squad sort of flipped the home matches. As Ciampa's going to play a great ball forward, just cut out to the last possible second there, and it needed to be by Kaylee Shannon, or else Lily Bosley was going to be through on goal. Ciampa once again, that shot's going to come in, scuffed it just a little bit, and it's going to go out of play for a goal kick. But Detroit City FC right there showing how dangerous they can be so quickly, turning a game on a dime on that occasion. Northrop there getting things back underway for the visitors. Nearly poked away there. That one's played forward down the line. Detroit City FC had the numbers back. That one's just going to be a collision, but the referee's going to say it was a foul. Neither player was sort of angling for the foul there, but I guess the coming together was deemed to be too much by today's official. I think Flint tried to take a couple more yards right there, but the referee confident in where she blew the whistle. All the way back. About what? 35 yards out. Tino standing over it. She's sort of been the set piece specialist for her side so far. Just really good defensive stands from LaRouge all evening on a couple of dangerous free kick opportunities. That one's going to come into the area, bounce around a little bit. You could tell the ball had a little bit of a weird sort of bounce and direction to it, but Shriver able to collect it into the hands. Lays it off to Peters. Sort of a two-handed bowling toss that was from Shriver. That one's out of play for a Detroit City FC goal kick. The composure from LaRouge and playing out of the back. They're not afraid to do it, and they've been pretty accurate with those passes so far from the center backs into the midfield, and that's laid a really good foundation of success for Detroit City FC. A great nutmeg there is going to set Detroit City FC forward, and Paget does smartly to play it out of danger for a throw-in. Trying to find Crum here on this near side touchline. Crum just sort of out-muscled a little bit by Tatum Galvin. And then there's a whistle way after the fact there. So it'll be a free kick for Flint. Northrop out of the goal to take this one outside of her box. Got to be very careful with this one. Up and into the air. Childers marshaling the defensive duties there as Tatiana Mason looks to apply the pressure. Really good turn there by Reese Canada to play her teammate into some space. Just cut out by Maya Sulis. Headed down into some space. Bosley now has a chance to turn and run with it. Plays in Childers, who's in some space in the midfield. Childers blasts it forward, trying to find Ciampa unable to do so, but Childers could press here to get the ball back before she's able to play back out wide for Flint. As Sulis now applying the pressure on the far side. Ball's going to be played into the area, just a little bit too much on that one. And the turf is going to keep that one in play. It'll be at the last possible second with the attempt to find Casey Lauer. But it'll stay with Flint as Lauer prepares to throw in now. Lauer throws it into Galvin. Galvin all the way across the pitch to the lone acting center back right now. If you look at that screen, Ciampa and Crum sort of giving these Flint defenders about 15 yards of space. I wonder, you know, we saw early in that first half Detroit City AFC pressing those defenders a lot closely, but now with a 1-0 advantage in the second half, you can kind of slow that down a little bit and make sure you have the legs to go for counterattacks that could be dangerous the other end up the pitch. And Hannah Crum's going to be called for the foul on that occasion. Her whole squad kind of unable to believe that one. Taken quickly by Reese Canada, and Flint, a really good heads-up play there. Shriver was up for it. Didn't really need to be as it goes out for a goal kick. Avery Peters been on goal kick duties this evening so far for Gabby Shriver. That one's eventually played forward up by Peters. Looking for Padgett's going to go off of the foot of Crum. Crum goes to ground, and the referee's going to give the foul the way of Detroit City. Ciampa's going to take a couple yards there on this occasion and play it into the space of Bosley. Mason chips it over the top. A great first touch by Padgett, just cut out at the last second before a shot could come of it. Hannah Crum applying the pressure and just throws a shoulder that I thought the referee didn't see for a second there, but eventually goes the way of Detroit City FC. A yellow card's going to come out here. I believe that's for Reese Canada. Referee, I think, indicated how many fouls that she had built up to this point. So Reese Canada is the first player into the book of the evening. Reese, one of the two Canadas on this roster with Landis Canada. Been Flint's arguably most dangerous player when going forward so far tonight. But they're going to need a little bit more out of their attackers, maybe out of their midfielders as they look to claw back into this match. Flint now looking to press forward. It's Maya Sulis that's going to be over to make sure that Grace Philpotts doesn't have much room to operate. Wow. Not good when the corner flag. Oh, there we go. Nice. Corner flag remains intact. And that one's going to, are they giving a goal kick? Or are they giving it looks like it'll be a free kick, a deep free kick for Detroit City FC after the battle of Sulis and Philpotts was resolved. Coming all the way back to Peters. Peters is going to play it over to Offer. Offer has some space to operate going forward. Padgett comes a little bit deeper to get this one. Really clever ball over to Childers, opening up space in the middle of the pitch, and that space is going to be exploited by Avery Peters. But Mason unable to retain it there, despite going for the nutmeg. Good ball into space by Samantha Woods. Woods is going to make sure it gets all the way back to the center backs. And back out wide once again for Flint. Both teams operating in wide positions when going forward, trying to open up space in the middle of the park to get something going in the attacking end. Coming all the way back out to this near side by Casey Lauer. Lauer's going to cut inside with some space. It's going to be Crum pressing her. Childers is going to get on the end of it, just unable to chip it up and over into the path of Padgett. So it's back with the visitors. A great step there by Tatum Galvin. Despite being down 1-0, Flint's not really rushing things. They're taking their time when looking forward. A great ball over the top. It's going to be Flint through on goal, and Shriver gets down to it and denies Gaetino from where we're positioned, unable to see if the flag was going to come up or not. But a great ball over the top. Gaetino was going to want that one back, a right-footed effort, one-on-one with the goalkeeper, and Shriver comes out victorious on this occasion. Throw in deep here for Detroit City FC. Lily Bosley, I thought she was going to take it, but Maya Sulis in an advanced position. Bosley back to goal. Sulis, right-footed ball into the area. Paget's the only one in there for Detroit City FC. Cleared away, but I was going to say only as far as Murphy, but it was a great job with her back to goal there from Gaetino on that occasion to keep it with her side. Now Detroit City FC stretched just a little bit thin here. A great tackle by Offer, and Paget now has numbers forward for Detroit City FC. Paget has Crum and Ciampa up with her. Emily Paget cutting into the area. Left-footed ball across. That's going to go into the back of the net. Another goal for Detroit City FC off of another miscommunication from the Flint City AFC back line. A great job there by Paget to kind of just dribble into space, and she kind of just put it into the area. It looked like it was going to be a cross and then eventually tapped home. I believe that was Ciampa who gets their second goal of the evening. And after 58 minutes of play, Aubrey Ciampa gets the goal. And you got to credit Emily Paget with the assist because of that great ball into a dangerous position, sort of an awkward position for the Flint City AFC goalkeeper, Northrup, on that occasion. And all of a sudden, it's 2-0 for Detroit City FC. The hole that they have to dig themselves out of now, even deeper for the visitors. "59 minutes of action through here at Keyworth Stadium. Detroit City FC is going to like the position they're in, 2-0. But with Flint, you know they have dangerous players on the pitch, on the bench. If they can get a third, they'll feel a lot more comfortable right now. Most dangerous lead in football, as the old adage goes. Crowd at Keyworth Stadium loving this one. And what a debut at Keyworth Stadium for Aubrey Ciampa. And like I said after the first goal, it's not June yet. It's not Pride Month yet. But if you scan the QR code on your screen right now, give and donate and pledge to the Northern Guard Supporters Ruth Ellis Pride Raiser campaign for the 2024 season, so that when these goals happen in June, they're worth something for a great cause. Scan the QR code now and make your pledge for the 2024 Pride Raiser campaign. Childers there, sort of just looking for the whistle on that occasion. A great ball over the top. Murphy's going to get over to it as Gaetino is able to see it before it goes out of play. Ball's going to come into the area. Avery Peters some work to do. Shriver gets a great hand on it. And that's a huge save by Gabby Shriver to keep the clean sheet alive as we see a couple subs getting ready for Detroit City FC. Looks like it'll be 3 subs down there for Detroit City FC. Corner's going to be whipped in now. That one's going to be near post, but again, Shriver down to it. A great 45 seconds there from Gabby Shriver to keep Flint at bay and keep the 2-goal advantage for her side. And if you're, Gaetino, you're going to be thinking about that one-on-one opportunity that you missed just minutes prior to Detroit City FC doubling their advantage. Sort of two of the most odd goals you'll see at Keyworth Stadium this year as Detroit City FC again puts the pressure on. Lily Bosley in the area tried to find Ciampa, who wanted her hat trick, and that one's going to go out of play and up against the Schrodeck ad board and out for a corner for Detroit City FC. Flint just unable to get out of their own heads on this occasion. 2-0 and both goals that could have been prevented on a different day for the visitors. Ciampa on a hat trick here at Keyworth Stadium. Ball's going to be played in and not really beat the first defender. That one's going to come in from Mason, but eventually cleared away as Childers just putting the pressure on. Good tenacity there by Acadia Murphy, but even better work there by Phil Potts. But it's turned over to Mason, all the way back to Peters. A great ball up and out wide from Avery Peters, trying to find Murphy. Center back was marauding forward a little bit on that occasion. Murphy's going to cut back to try to get back into a more natural shape for her. Crum and Ciampa sort of applying the pressure from that forward line. Great poke away there by Maya Sulis, who's been fantastic all night in that fullback position. Step over there into space. Sulis again going to have some defensive work to do. Does it on that occasion and sees it out for another Flint City AFC corner. They've not been too dangerous so far on set piece opportunities. That last one probably their best of the evening so far, getting it in the near post and forcing a save out of Shriver. Still awaiting those subs that we know are getting ready down there. But the corner will come in first. Right-footed effort into the mixer. And sort of, again, over everybody. There was a head onto it this time, but unable to put it on frame. And the referee is going to halt play. We'll have one coming in for the visitors as well. As 15 is going to come in for 7. Emily Paget's going to make way, as well as Hannah Crum. So the hat trick will have to wait another day for Aubrey Ciampa, who comes off for Detroit City FC. And introduced into the game, making her Detroit City FC debut, Sarah Tricoli. Drew Martin also enters the fray for Le Rouge. And Danny Steffen, another one of those PASL players from the winter season, comes onto the pitch at Keyworth Stadium for her first appearance in the W League team this year. Sort of a harsh foul there on that far side. It looked a lot worse than it probably was, but no card brandished on this occasion. So just to confirm those subs one more time, Danny Steffen entered play for Hannah Crum. Drew Martin entered the pitch for Aubrey Ciampa. And Sarah Tricoli enters play for Emily Paget. So all the subs kind of coming at the front part of this Detroit City FC roster, allowing some of the more involved attackers to kind of take a breath, take their seat, and get ready for Thursday's match against Michiana Lions as the squad looks to keep this momentum rolling. A really good ball out wide. Looks like Bosley's playing in a more advanced position since the substitutions. I also noticed that Tatiana Mason's a little bit further forward, so maybe Danny Steffen slotting into that midfield in sort of a deeper role, looking to use her physical prowess to the advantage of her squad. Ella Offer's going to try to play it down the line. It'll stay with Detroit City FC on this end of the pitch. 65 minutes gone. Detroit City FC scoring twice the amount of goals they scored last week against Flint City AFC, so a marked improvement. That second to last suite down there, full of Detroit City FC USL Championship players. That one's going to come all the way back to Shriver, who doesn't need to get hands on it. Back in the midfield, Childers now gets to Tricoli. Sarah Tricoli played her college soccer at Florida. She's a Florida Gator. Played professionally over in Europe, and now is a part of this Detroit City FC roster, looking to make an impact and sort of help this squad. One of the more experienced players on the roster. So hoping to teach a thing or two to some of the younger players, as well as make an impact among the group of experienced veterans. Good header there by Offer. And Childers first over to it. Drew Martin with her back to goal, looking to get things started going forward. Back to goal and then running through behind. That's sort of the idea for these back to goal forwards. Tatiana Mason in some space on the far side, the near side touchline, excuse me. All the way back, and Shriver's going to be over to this one. Does well to stand her ground physically on that occasion. A really good job there by Avery Peters stepping up into some space. Murphy tried to get a foot in there, but Peters is going to come back from her maraud forward into the midfield and back to the back line, and Shriver's going to be able to allow her center backs to just slow things down a little bit. There's really a non-existent press right now from Flint City AFC, so no need to rush things if you're Avery Peters or Acadia Murphy. Danny Steffens plays it out wide. Sulis playing the ball forward. It's going to be Drew Martin. Drew Martin's going to see it out of play. It'll be a Detroit City FC throw in a deep position. Take a look. Look at that. Sweet. Too, you love to see that. Detroit City FC forward Ben Morris, midfielder James Murphy, and last week's Open Cup hero Carlos Saldana taking in tonight's USL W League match. So great to see the support, you know, all things Detroit City FC, from the USL Championship squad to the W League squad, PASL squad as well. Had a lot of men's team presence there as well. So great to see that from those members of the USL Championship squad. This goes to show how much of a family this Detroit City FC club truly is. And they're back in action next Wednesday on the road to Indy 11 in the U.S. Open Cup round of 16 for a spot in the quarterfinals. So getting ready for a huge match by taking in some great W League soccer. Great header forward there by Tricoli. It's going to go to Mason. That pyramid right there, that triangle, is sort of the nature of this W League. You have a really younger player, less experience in Lily Bosley, and then you have two veterans in the women's game, in Tatiana Mason and Sarah Tricoli. So sort of what Dave Dwahey and his staff were looking to build, a good cohesion between the younger players and the more experienced veterans, and it's on full display here at Keyworth this evening. As Tatiana Mason looks to take this corner from the near side. Coming close on a couple of occasions on these corners has Tatiana Mason. Just getting it into the mixer. Avery Peters making a late run forward. That one's going to go over everybody, including momentarily Northrop in goal. And we'll go out for another corner, this time on the opposite side. Wonder if Mason's going to make her way over. It doesn't look like it. Looks like it'll be Murphy, who just takes it short. That one's going to be played in to the mixer. Folks were lining up for that one, just never arrived. Childers looking to play it over across to Martin. Going to come all the way back, and Flint City AFC looking to build out of the back, but intercepted once again by Murphy, who's been absolutely incredible as part of this Detroit City FC back line this evening. Tried to find Bosley on that occasion. It'll trickle out of play for a goal kick. 70 minutes gone. Detroit City FC looking good. 2 goals clear of Flint, thanks to a brace from Aubrey Ciampa, and 2 of the oddest goals I think she'll score. Emily Paget doing a great job getting the ball over the Flint keeper for the second, and then Ciampa, I can't imagine she was any further out than 6 inches from the goal line before tucking it into the back of the net. One of the easier goals she'll ever score. Out wide, again, a great job by Maya Sulis. Appreciate you, everyone, tuning in on CBSDetroit.com, the home of Detroit City FC. Of course, the USL Championship matches can be streamed for free by supporters in Michigan, and the USL W League matches all season long from Keyworth Stadium, free always on CBS Detroit, no matter where you're located. So appreciate everyone tuning in there. Childers had a great game in that sort of 6th position. Not really notice her too much except for when she's on the ball, and that's a good thing. Really composed in the midfield on the ball. Not afraid to get stuck into 50-50s, but not really needing to so far this evening. And a great ball over the top is going to find Bosley if she can keep it in. Bosley plays it across. I think she was looking for maybe like the slightest touch there off of the Flint City defender, but it's going to go out for a goal kick. And I'm not really seeing a lot of urgency from Flint, despite the fact that they're 2-0 down. And if you're Detroit City, you can't really, if you didn't know the score, Detroit City FC still playing as if they're chasing the opening goal. So head coach David Dwahey and his staff are really going to enjoy that out of the squad this evening. Ball forward. Murphy's going to head it down, and Steffen's going to try to get over to it. It's going to be Martin with a great job. A lot of pressure there to get it forward. And since that triple salvo of subs, you've seen Tatiana Mason playing in a lot more forward position, looking to break into that back line a little bit. I see 3 more players standing up for Detroit City FC. Not sure if they're subs or if they're just tired of sitting down. Flint now looking to do what they've been trying to do all game, build out of the back. Gaetino's dropping the deepest that she's had to all night. Played all the way up forward. Ella Offer's going to be the one applying pressure on this near side now. For the first time, really dribbled inside, and Avery Peters was unaware of the run coming in. And a great job there by the ball kids to duck out of the way. That could have been bad. That could have been bad. That was Samantha Woods marauding forward for the first time this evening. And, yeah, those ball kids in danger there for a second. No urgency out of this Detroit City FC backline, and why should they? Really no pressure on them as assistant coach Nate Northup's walking Kayla Addison through what he wants to see out of her in her cameo in this match. Kayla Addison, of course, one of the stalwarts of the PASL squad from the winter, scored 20-plus goals in only 10 regular season matches. Just a great output from her, and she showed toward the end of the last USL W League season she's dangerous, whether there's walls, whether there's boards, whatever it is, Kayla Addison's going to be a goal threat. I imagine that Kayla Addison's sub will be made quickly. It'll be for Tatiana Mason. So Kayla Addison entering the match for number 55, Tatiana Mason. Gets a great round of applause from the crowd, as well as Dave Dwahey and his staff. Delighted with her performance as Kayla Addison enters the fray. And if you're the Flint back line, if you're tired, you're kind of annoyed you're 2-0 down, if you see Kayla Addison, it's not going to make things any better. Just such a physical presence as well. Speed, super strong. She can turn defenders as well. And the footwork from Addison was on full display in the PASL, and I expect we'll see a lot of it in this W League season as well. Played her college soccer at Grand Valley State University. One of the all-time Laker greats. That one's going to be played into the area, but Shriver down and quick to it early. Take a couple more valuable ticks off the board, and Flint just looking for something different. They're going to be readying 3 subs on this occasion. Looks like number Bosley now. 76 minutes nearly gone, and Lily Bosley still pressing like an absolute machine out there. University of Michigan Wolverine, along with her teammate Avery Peters. A great ball, a great idea for a ball there by Kayla Addison, and then those fresh legs able to apply the pressure on the back line. That one's played forward, and Ella Offers coming about as advanced as she needed to be to put some pressure on Samantha Woods, but Woods plays out of the pressure. Bosley out wide, sees that one out for a throw-in. 3 subs now happening for the visitors. Train coming by here at Keyworth Stadium. They were coming in bunches on the first one. "76 minutes gone here at Keyworth Stadium as Detroit City FC looks to maintain the lead, and I don't know if you guys heard that one at home, but the train, of course, coming by, honking the horn. I always wonder if the train operator, conductor, I guess he would be known as, I wonder if they always know. I wonder if they know. But Detroit City FC back numbers forward. Kayla Addison tried to play the ball into Steffen. Going to fall all the way out to Childers. Childers didn't know there was pressure on her back shoulder. Might retain possession here. Does a great job to read it off of the turf and out of the sky, and still maintains possession. Just couldn't get it over to the newly introduced Drew Martin just a few minutes ago. One of the staples of Keyworth Stadium is the train just taking part, coming by, and always gets a huge round of applause from the fans. Without the train horn, But once that train conductor blows that horn, knows how to make the fans at Keyworth Stadium happy. That ball's going to be played over the top. Peters wise to it. Murphy now applying the pressure. Going to come back inside. Murphy and Peters sort of come narrow a little bit, excuse me. And a great job there by Murphy. And then another great slide tackle. I believe that was Tricoli going to ground to keep the ball with Detroit City FC. As the evening, we've mentioned the beautiful weather all night, and as the evening's gone on, it's only gotten nicer out here at Keyworth Stadium. Flint now looking to get a goal. 12 minutes remaining. You get one, you really never know what can happen. Put the pressure on a little bit for Detroit City FC to keep things tidy. Woods has been more involved for the visitors in the last 15-20 minutes or so. Just a sea of bodies in the box, and that one's going to be sort of a half-hearted attempt there and out of play. Again, no rush here from Detroit City FC. You're up 2-0, only 12 minutes remaining. Peters again on goal kick duty this evening. Last year's Black Arrow MVP. Scored a couple bangers last year for Detroit City FC. Unfortunately, all of them were on the road. So you just had to have, if you know type situation. Scored the goal in Detroit City FC's first win last year on the road to Cleveland Forest SC. Sort of a banger from distance from Avery Peters. Just absolutely lashed her foot through it. And last year we saw her more as a defensive midfielder, but this year Dave Dwayhees and his staff have decided to play her as more of a center back. And so far, 90 plus 80 minutes of action, no goals conceded for Detroit City FC, so seems to be paying dividends at least early on in the season. A lot of pressure from the Detroit City FC front line, just sort of suffocating Flint, unable to allow them to the space or time on the ball to get anything going. Thought Dan Marcascio was going to do the throw in down there. Safe security guard. Childers. Good pressure from Childers on this occasion, but loses out due to an unfortunate bounce off of the turf. And the beneficiary of that was Delaney Caldwell, just unable to do anything different with it other than give it back to Detroit City FC. All the way back to Shriver. Shriver, just no press from the Flint City forwards, so really in no hurry to take any of these goal kicks. Great job there by Martin to keep possession for her side. That was you had to just stay in that one, and that's exactly what Drew Martin did. So it stays with Detroit City FC. We're more than happy to just play this amongst themselves and see the clock continue to tick on. Tricoli there. Sort of a couple bounces, eventually gets it back to her feet. Peter surveying the options, playing it forward, looking for Addison. Addison going up for the header, losing out, but it falls back to Steffen, so we'll stay with LaRouge. Maya Sulis, been one of the key parts of the success for Detroit City FC this evening, plays it back to Tricoli. Looks like we got two more subs getting ready here for Detroit City FC. Peters now. Time and space on the ball. Plays it up. Addison, Flint's done a good job so far of containing Kayla Addison, not allowing her to get too many touches on the ball, not having too much freedom going forward. But the hold-up play has been good nonetheless. Flint now looking to get something going, like I said a few minutes ago. If you can get a goal, put the pressure on just a little bit, try to get an equalizer, a late equalizer. That's a great ball through the middle. Gabby Shriver off her line. And yet again, Gabby Shriver comes up huge with the stop. to keep Flint City AFC at bay and keep the clean sheet alive for her and her back line. The second one-on-one that's been denied by Shriver. And referee is eventually going to give that one as a free kick. Thought maybe the advantage was going to be played, but I think Detroit City FC happy with that whistle. Of course, no blue cards in play tonight as we got accustomed to during the PASL season. Only yellows and reds, and only one has been dispatched so far. Good ball forward there into some space by Olivia Rush. She's not been too involved so far for Flint, but now back onto the ball in some space and looking forward. Likes to play it out wide. That'll be the newly introduced Randy Four. Randy Four putting the pressure on Ella Offer, but that one's going to go up and over everybody and all the way back to the back line. Played forward once again. Going to be played out wide on the wing. The left-footed effort's going to come into the area, back into the mixer, and Offer went for it. Someone's going to go out of play for a deep Flint City throw-in. Offer got a foot on that. You don't really know where it would end up, so maybe not the worst thing in the world that it went. That one's going to be cleared away, but only into the area. That one's going to come in a right-footed effort, and Shriver gets beat. And that was an effort that was on the volley. Obviously, no really need to celebrate that one. The Detroit City FC backline was calling for the handball. That one sort of bounced up into an awkward position. With it did go off the hand of the Flint City forward, but I don't think the referee thought it was intentional. So Shriver beaten there on the volley. And Flint gets one back. Sort of a interesting time to concede if you're Detroit City FC. Like I said, the most dangerous lead in football is how it goes. As Allie Childers is going to enter the match for her sister, Kate Childers, and number 26, Alexandra Teffen, is going to come on for Lily Bosley. So sort of another shake of the dice. Teffen kind of sees herself as a fullback, so maybe a more defensive option for Detroit City FC, who now have to be careful. 2-0 up to 2-1 is a massive difference in scoreline, especially as we enter the final about 6 minutes of play plus stoppage time. Ella Offer now back into some forward positioning here as Teffen's going to receive the ball for her first touches of the evening. Plays it in, and the referee is going to have the flag up on that far side. Only 4 minutes plus stoppage now for Detroit City FC to navigate from a position where they were up 2-0 and now only lead by 1, so it's going to have to be a strong defensive stand from the back line. We've seen a strong defensive stand all evening, but now is really when it's going to matter for Detroit City FC, and we'll see if Flint can get anything out of this game as Teffen steps up into some space to try to get possession back, and that one's going to be a physical battle that's going to go the way of Flint City AFC. Olivia Rush winning out on that occasion. Last couple minutes have seen Rush get more involved. In the last few minutes of action and urging her side forward as they look for a late equalizer. And the Detroit City FC bench just sort of urging the players on, saying we need more intensity, we need more pressure to keep up this lead and try to come out of this game with all 3 points. Good job pressing from the front here by Addison. Addison's going to hope to have Steffen up with her. So it was a great finish from Flint City AFC that clawed a goal back from them and kind of have given them the opportunity here to get something out of this game before getting back up on I-75 North, back up to Flint. A great ball to the wide positions, a good turn there, has Ella Offer in some dangerous waters, but a good job by Shriver to maintain the possession. Alexander Teffin to apply the pressure there, the former Golden Grizzly. All the way back to the newly introduced Allison Childers, who of course replaced her sister just a few minutes ago. And a misplaced pass backwards. Avery Peters is going to have some work to do here. Does well to keep the attacker out wide, but that one's going to be played into space. Shriver off of her line to collect. And that was a really, really dangerous ball by Delaney Caldwell. And Shriver's just asking the back line to just calm down just a little bit and see this one out for the final few minutes of action. Kayla Addison gets a rare touch onto the ball since being introduced. Going to need the support here from the fans in the crowd to keep this one going. We almost saw a free kick coming all the way back. There was a little bit of contact off the ball. The referee saw it, but because the pass was on there, elected not to give the foul. And now Detroit City FC has to defend and sort of just see this one out. Would have been a dangerous situation there, led by Landis Canada, but unable to find the pass on the edge of the 18-yard box. And that's good sportsmanship there by Dave Dwahey to throw that one in as quickly as possible. Teffen now onto the ball. Sort of a 2v1, kind of a 3v1. That one's eventually going to go out. The referee's going to blow the whistle there. So going to be no rush here from Detroit City FC to take this one as we come up on the 90th minute. Offer now been one of the better players on the field all evening. Going to be blasted forward, looking for Steffen. Kayla Addison's going to recognize she has a chance at this one's going to go over to attack it, unable to get to it, as Detroit City FC sort of allowing Flint the space and the time to be on the ball, but eventually comes all the way back to Childers. Childers just unable to corral it, and the midfield's definitely, it's been a tough midfield for the last few minutes. A great job there by Ella Offer, who's been incredible this evening to maintain possession for Detroit City FC. As we enter 90th minute, stoppage time, going to be 4 minutes. So 4 more minutes for Detroit City FC to see this one out and claim a huge 3 points to start the homestand of matches here in the USLW League season. But Flint City AFC has been applying the pressure lately. They've been kind of just getting through Detroit City FC just a little bit more than they have all game, and they'll have all the momentum here as we enter stoppage time. Addison unable to corral that one, but going to apply the pressure coming back to Northrop. Northrop's just going to blast it forward into some space. Childers is going to have some time there. Elects to play in Teffen. Teffen now trying to play an Addison there, but all the way back to Northrop, who distributes it quickly. Tricoli now. A great interception in the midfield from the experienced midfielder. Was looking to probably play an Addison there. Eventually was going to run into space where she could lose it, but it's going to go to the visitors, who are clearly in a hurry to take this one. They take it relatively quickly. Good job from Tricoli to stay in the fight on that occasion. Addison applying the pressure on the far side touchline. Wins the ball back, Kayla Addison. Kayla Addison into the 18-yard box, gets it across, and it'll be out for a corner. While Detroit City FC is appreciative of the set piece, more than anything, it'll be more seconds off the clock, more time to see this one out and try to get all 3 points. Drew Martin over to take this corner. Going to be played to Sulis. Sulis is going to have her back to goal, and Drew Martin looks like to get some valuable seconds off of the clock. Referee's going to let that one go. A very similar handball to the one that happened with Flint's goal, so good to see consistency in that regard. That one might go out for another corner. I thought the center referee was going to see that one as a corner, but the line judge, who was closer to it, elects for the goal kick as Northrop is just going to hit this one as hard as she can and get the ball as advanced up the field as she can. Tricoli's going to step up into it, though, and win the side back. And Kayla Addison's going to muscle her way through, but I wonder if the offside flag would have came up. I think she was just a little bit off when that header came in from Tricoli. But Flint here now into some space, has space out wide. Ella Offer's going to have to come over to defend. Randy Four been really dangerous since coming on in this second half for the visitors. Peters does a great job to win the ball back there. It took an unfortunate bounce off of her leg and out. And that ball is going to be thrown into some space. Cut all the way back across. Some space on the edge of the area. That one's going to be played in. Flag's going to stay down. That one's going to be scuffed off of the boot there. So sort of a sigh of relief for for Detroit City FC as Shriver takes a couple touches before collecting it. Huge shout out to everyone on our production team this evening. Chris Mills on camera, Orlando Ford up there as well. Getting us great looks all evening long. Tricoli, some pressure now. Does well to at least stay in that fight and take some more valuable seconds off the clock. Can't be long now for Detroit City FC. 4 minutes of stoppage time was put up, and we're well into that now here at Keyworth Stadium. Maybe one or two more chances for the visitors to get something out of this game. And a great job by Ella Offer. The referee is going to blow against Detroit City FC, so a possible late free kick opportunity here for the visitors to get something out of this game. It's going to be Mila Rustin standing over this one for the visitors, and they're just going to put this one into the mixer and try to catch this Detroit City FC back line asleep. It's going to be a right-footed delivery into the mixer. Here comes the ball now, sort of a little bit more shallow than I thought it was going to be. Wow, that one's through, and Shriver gets down to it, and Gabby Shriver makes the save. The flag stayed down. And I think that'll do it from Keyworth Stadium. I don't know if the referee is going to allow the corner. I think that's it. Detroit City FC, after a little bit of confusion, picks up all 3 points here at Keyworth Stadium thanks to an inspired effort by Detroit City FC's backline and Gabby Shriver standing tall on multiple occasions late in the match to keep Flint off the board. They eventually found a goal to pull one back, but then a huge save there at the end by Shriver gives Detroit City FC all 3 points after a brace from Aubrey Ciampa. It was a really powerful, a couple huge saves there by Gabby Shriver to keep things in Detroit City FC's favor. Flint got one back a little bit later on to put some pressure on the LaRouge back line, but Aubrey Ciampa's brace is going to be the difference between these two sides as LaRouge advances to 2-0-0 to start the season. Next up, they will take on Michiana Lions right here at Keyworth Stadium next Thursday in a 7 p.m. kickoff. Don't miss it on CBS Detroit. As always, I have been Jarrett Mackey. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.